Neo Tokyo was released in 1987, and it's kind of like the forgotten little brother of Robot Carnival. Now, Neo Tokyo and Robot Carnival aren't directly related, but they are similar in the sense that they're both anime anthologies, they both deal in science fiction, they both come out in the 80s, and they both feature the work of Katsuhiro Otomo, creator of Akira and Steam Boy. However, through the years, Neo Tokyo never reached the popularity of its counterpart and seems to have been forgotten, which is a shame because Neo Tokyo is just as good as Robot Carnival and in some ways ahead of its time. The film starts things off with Labyrinth, labyrinthos by Rintaro, which also serves as the movie's framing device. Labyrinth, labyrinthos tells the story of Sachi and her cat Cicerone as they play a surrealistic version of hide-and-seek. Sachi and Cicerone leave the comfort of her mother's kitchen and enter a labyrinth filled with clowns, black ooze, ghostly people, and an invisible dog. It's very strange, and honestly, I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but a weird thing happened. The more I watched it, the more I liked it, and it ended up becoming my favorite story in the entire film. The short has a dreamlike quality to it and allows us to see deep into Sachi's subconscious. The story exists as a metaphor for the dreams and thoughts of a little girl, and actually paints Sachi as a tragic figure. Towards the end, the short becomes very dark, almost nihilistic, which is in sharp contrast to the cute character design and beautiful animation. What's surprising is that Labyrinth Labyrinthos came from Rintaro, whose other directing efforts are very straightforward. The short almost foreshadows the later work of Satoshi Kon, in a weird way making Rintaro Satoshi Kon before Satoshi Kon. Next up is Running Man by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, about a man who competes in a futuristic death race. The man in question, Zach Hugh, uses psychic powers to manipulate the race, and later discovers not everything can be controlled so easily. Running Man is often described as the weakest of the stories, and it is. The reason being there's not much to it. What you see is what you get. But this is the thing. What you see is fucking awesome. Kawajiri's short may be the weakest narratively, but it is the strongest visually. There is a lot of style, and Running Man is a striking visual statement of aggression. If Rintaro is doing Satoshi Kon before Satoshi Kon, then Kawajiri's style over substance approach is doing Zack Snyder before Zack Snyder. And come to think of it, the metaphysical elements of the story are almost Sucker Punch-esque. But don't hold that against it. Running Man is a visual feast for the eyes and exemplifies the style of 80s anime and the style of Kawajiri. There is a reason anytime in the 90s when the Sci-Fi Channel or MTV ran a promo for an animation block, they would show clips of Kawajiri's work. It's because Kawajiri can show more violence and more intensity in a couple of frames of animation than other directors can show in an entire film. Also, the 80s, and to a lesser extent the 90s, were a great time for blood and control panels. A control panel never looks as good as it does in an 80s anime. And I love the blood. Why does it glow? Because it's fucking awesome, that's why it glows. Wrapping things up is Construction Cancellation Order by legendary director manga artist Katsuhiro Otomo, which deals with a foreman being sent to oversee a group of robots constructing a massive facility in South America. However, much to the foreman's chagrin, Robot 444-1 is less than cooperative. What follows is a brilliant satire about adhering to an idea or ideology in the face of reason, a sentiment that has never been more true than it is today. Construction Cancellation Order is the overall strongest of the shorts, and it's the easiest to get into. It's a very linear story that has a lot of fun with its subject matter, and it doesn't beat you over the head with its message. It also has the best character of the film with 444-1. 444-1 is thoroughly entertaining, and I would love to see a prequel that fleshes out more of his backstory. He really should be held up as one of the great characters of anime. Like, where do I need to go to start a campaign for 444-1 cosplayers? Of course, any animated film by Otomo is going to have great art, and Construction Cancellation Order delivers. Even though the visual style isn't as daring as Running Man, it's classic Akira-era Otomo, which in and of itself is worth the watch right there. My favorite part of the art is the watercolor backgrounds, which look great under the hand-drawn characters. Overall, Neo Tokyo is an underrated anime classic, and there really isn't anything bad I can say. Some of the shorts may not be for you, but you're bound to find at least one that you like. And with the scant 50-minute running time, it never drags and you'll never get bored. Really, the only downside is, at the time of this review, the DVD is out of print, and if you're interested in buying it, it's going to cost you at least $50 or over to get. But the great thing about the internet is seek and ye shall find, so definitely seek this one out and you won't regret it. Maybe if enough of us go looking for Neo Tokyo, the rights holders will release a high-definition Blu-ray. One can only hope. Until next time.